and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
Yes, here we are again, another day committed to being your consumer advocate, helping you understand your buying decisions, making you just a bit more street smart here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We want to help you win if you're buying, selling, or investing real estate, of course, as well. And it's the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty helping you win in any marketplace. Now, with the Quarterback Show, we got 50 different categories, 80 different categories of expert advice here, consumer advocates on the show. ConsumerQB.com is the website, and we want you to save our hotline number in your phone at some point. You may need it, 813-750-0550. That's the Consumer Advocate Hotline, 813-750-0550.
You used to call me on my cell phone.
And we love it when the hotline blings and rings. It's an off-air number, so you're not going to be thrown on the show. So call that number, text at any time as well. We got a great lineup for you today as well. We're going to have our friend Fred MUTH, Tampa, Screens in Aluminum. You've heard him on the show over the years, longtime friend of the program, and he's talking about real estate as well. We got Howard Weinstein in studio as well. Keller Williams, he's a broker. He's also managing the southern region as well. Before we do, let me just plug one of our sponsors here. We got some great sponsors with the Quarterback Show. Brothers Easy Moving. Big shout out to Brothers Easy Moving, the official moving partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. First-hand experience. They did a great job with my family's move, and I highly recommend Brothers Easy Moving. Make sure you let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. All right, we got a hot listing here on Clearwater Beach. This one's 1010 Bay Esplanade. This is one of the highest earning zip codes in all of Tampa Bay, highest appreciating zip codes in all of Tampa Bay. 1010 Bay Esplanade. You're living on basically Millionaire's Row on the north side of the beach. What I love about this property is you've got that third-story private sun deck as well. Private apartment. You can rent that out. Updated, renovated kitchen. 3,200 square feet, just shy of 3,200 square feet. 4 bedrooms, 3 bath, 2-car garage. 1010 Bay Esplanade, right on Clearwater Beach, one of our hot real estate listings here in beautiful Tampa Bay. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
Somewhere sunny and 75.
All right, in studio, we got Howard Weinstein. Welcome in, my friend.
It's good to be here with you, Brandon.
Hey, thanks for coming in. I appreciate it. And wow, you've got a lot of titles here. South Florida Regional Area Director, you're operating principal for Space Coast Realty, you're managing broker for the Keller Williams Gulfside Groups. That's the Ubaldini's Group, $1.7 billion in sales last year.
Yes, sir.
And, of course, Keller Williams, number one real estate company in the world, $400 billion last year. So, yeah, welcome in, man.
I appreciate it. It's good to be here with you. It's such an honor to be here with you, Brandon. Brandon, I have the honor of working with you alongside of you in Keller Williams, and just to have this opportunity to hang out with you and talk a little bit about shop, real estate, and what's going on in our market today. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I look forward to it, man. A lot of cool things happening, and there's these outside influences. You got internal stuff going on. We just had our Keller Williams family reunion every year. It's kind of like let's come together. Let's talk about what's winning. That's what I love about KW too, is you have the different markets that we're not competing against folks in Seattle, or Portland or whatever area, Austin, Texas. So it's like, hey, let's share ideas. Let's help each other get smarter, get stronger, and grow together.
I think it's one of the biggest. I've been in the industry 27 years, and I've been with Keller Williams for almost 10. And I think it's probably one of our biggest variances is our culture.
Yeah.
And the culture piece is, we've got wonderful agents like yourself that we work with, and we share with each other our best things. Because, like you said, there's plenty of real estate to sell.
That's right.
And we work across the world to do that. Yet if we can share some things among each other, they're going to make each other stronger and benefit our clients and consumers. Why not?
I love it. Good stuff. Also, on the phones, we got our friend Fred MUTH, Tampa Screens and Aluminum. Hey, Fred.
Hey, how you guys doing over there?
Hey, doing great, my friend. And yourself?
I'm doing fine. Welcome to the show, Howard.
Thank you.
27 years. Wow, you've been at it. You've seen it all, haven't you? Ups and downs. You've been around.
Quite a bit. Yeah, I was raised in the industry. My mom was a real estate agent. We grew up in Annapolis, Maryland, but I've been in Florida since I'm in college, and was in education for a period of time, but in real estate shortly thereafter. So quite a while.
That's pretty cool.
I got one question, though, a serious question. Now that you're down here in Florida, where do you go for good crab cakes?
That's a good question. I just had this conversation with somebody the other day because when they come to your table and say it's they're just like Maryland, and I'm like, nah, not quite, not quite. There's some places that have some great crab cakes around here, but nothing touches Maryland. I'll tell you that.
I
That's
agree.
funny.
I'm from up in that area myself. Thank you.
Yeah, and
Anyway.
Annapolis, that kind of takes me back a little bit. I was recruited out of school to play quarterback for the Naval Academy, so I went up and I did my trip and my trip to the restaurants and all the cool entertainment type thing. Took you to the stadium. Brandon Rhymes, number 12, quarterback on the scoreboard. The only problem is it was covered with snow. For a South Florida boy, I'm like, whoa, that's a little cold.
And we didn't get the snow up there that you get like in the northeast, but they get it depends on the year. Sometimes they can get quite a bit.
That's right. So Howard, when we've got Fred on the show, he's been a longtime friend of the program, and we talk about adding these screen rooms, lanais, especially with the summer weather. You get the mosquitoes coming out from time to time. Think about the value that adds, and Tampa Screens and Aluminum does a great job. But talk about maybe from your perspective, what kind of value that adds to homes when you have that outdoor. We kind of coined the phrase here on the show, that in between space. It's not under air, but you're not completely outside.
Well, it's interesting because we teach at Keller Williams a lot about saleability versus value, and what's cool about something like that is it actually adds both. I mean, in the Florida marketplace, pretty much for the most part, if you put a pool in, you're going to screen it, right?
Right.
And if you have Florida rooms and whatnot, and courtyards and whatnot, I have one in my home as well, you would absolutely screen it. So what it does is it does add value to the home because people want that. But it also adds saleability because it's something that someone's not going to have to do once they've already purchased the home. It's just there for them.
I love that. Fred, what do you think about that?
But let me have the ones that aren't screened yet. Send them my way.
There you go. That's right.
Yeah. But I mean, I got to agree 100%. No matter what happens, basically when we pull the permit, the assessed value can change based on the value on the permit, because we have to add value on the permit when we go for the permit. So once the assessed value goes up, obviously the appraised value may follow because it has the screening room addition on the back or the front, wherever it is. So, yeah, definitely it's going to add to the sale price of the home.
Well, and I also think, and Brandon can attest to this, sometimes we'll go and list the appointments where there is screening there, but there's portions that need to be replaced or retouched. Yeah. And you and I both know that in a home where that's already been taken care of and done, it's going to help the saleability of the home because people don't, like I said, it's going to make it show better or make it appear more finished.
Yeah, more turnkey. People don't want to walk into a project unless they're a cash buyer. Then you get into the cash buyer versus ready to go turnkey versus full price offer. Cash buyers want to offer less, of course, sometimes. And when you look at that as well, you think about the challenges that finance buyers have in certain cases, and then you get into the conundrum of it's an as-is sale. I had 2 listing appointments yesterday. I actually listed 4 properties yesterday, and they said, well, this is an as-is sale. I want to make sure it's an as-is. And I say, okay, well, the buyers are okay with an as-is contract with right to inspect. That's right. So that's the big conundrum we have, Howard.
They do. They have that window of time, and that affects all transactions, even in a tight market like we're in today.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Sellers have more leverage now where they can say, okay, fine, nope, we're not doing those repairs. You can buy it as is. But then it also comes into, okay, well, can it be insured? Can you get insurance? Well, you failed the 4-point. You might not be able to. By the way, reach out to Jay Smith, A Snoop Inspection, for all your 4 points and Manikheim and his team as well for your termite and pest control. Get those inspections done as well. Dan Manikheim and his lovely wife Melissa as well. But same question to you, Fred. When you see these types of financing situations, do you offer financing for your screen rooms, or is that more of a cash deal?
It should be a cash deal. We have the ability to offer financing. I'm not real secure with a lot of the financing agreements, and in the past, when I would pull out the agreement and disclose everything in there, people would not sign it, because that's me. I like to disclose everything. I like them to know what they're signing. It's much easier for a homeowner basically to, if they don't have the cash, they can typically go to the bank and get a non-collateral loan, and that's going to treat them best. But in most cases today, in today's world, we're finding that people do have the cash.
Yeah, exactly. And they can access their equity through a home equity line, something along those lines, get a low rate still, And as long as you're not pushing it too close to the 100% loan to value, you're not jeopardizing your home. But yeah, so it makes a lot of sense to do it either way as well. When you look at adding the value, the beautiful, and talk a little bit about some of the manufacturing now that you've had. I hear, like, I believe it's an American-made product, and also you have that where you have less uprights.
Yeah, well, the panoramic view is something that homeowners, they would request it 20 years ago. I've been in this business going on about 28 years myself. And they would request this wide open spacing, and there was no engineering for it. So, with as many requests as the industry got for that product, finally the industry turned around and decided to try to get the engineering for it. And some of the products are different. The screen fabric's a little different. It stretches better. And then, of course, the uprights that are there are larger. 3 uprights on the back of the enclosure versus 5 is a much better look. So if you're going to span that distance, you're going to have to go with bigger uprights, 3 large ones versus 5 small ones. And, of course, the beam at the top is larger. And, it took a while to get it engineered correctly because aluminum expands and contracts with heat.
Right.
And the initial problems with the panel views were that the top beam would actually twist. It would twist and turn in the heat. And I think the resolution for that was the advanced screen product that came out, which has more flexibility to it. It stretches more like a rubber band, so it can accommodate for that flexion. So these are all the little quirks that they had to get worked out in the industry. But I'm not real clear on the date that the panoramic view first hit. I'm going to say it's been around about 10 years, the engineering, and they sell like hotcakes. When people see the pano view, that's what they want. Depending on the backdrop at the rear yard, basically if you're up against a retaining wall or something, a 6-foot-high block wall, you're not going to want to pay extra for the pano view. But if you go out and you're on a golf course or there's a lake out back, that's where the pano view really shines because it really opens up the back.
Yeah, exactly. That's the last thing you want to do is block those water views when you're paying that premium for that lot price to have a beautiful property on the water like that. So Fred Muth, Tampa Screens and Aluminum, Howard Weinstein here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. And Fred, if you can hang out with us here, we're going to take a quick break, but if you want to hang out with us, we'll come back to you. But if you got to say goodbyes, I understand.
No, I'm sitting here at my desk, getting a lot of work done, talking to you guys, enjoying myself.
Let's do it. All right, we'll talk some more real estate here on the second side of this break here. Stay with us. Also, our feel-good story of the day coming up. Stranger buys boy a basketball hoop after seeing him shooting hoops into a trash can. So our feel-good story of the day, one of our favorite segments with the show. We'll talk about that, plus more from our expert contributors right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Follow us online. We would love to connect with you online at Brandon Rhymes1 on Instagram and Twitter. Consumer Quarterback Show page out there on Facebook, as well as the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. Also, our YouTube channel. Subscribe. Please hit that like and subscribe button. We greatly appreciate it. We'll be right back after this short break. Don't go.
This is Ward Dunn, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
My friends, when choosing a listing agent to sell your home, their track record is critically important. Dennis Prager here for Brandon and Lindsay Rhymes, owners of Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Real Estate. They're consistently rated by the MLS in the top 1% of all Tampa Bay realtors, and that's a big deal. Brandon and Lindsay are always among the top realtors in the state. Call them today at 813-750-0550.
Find them at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
Selling commercial or residential property? Don't leave money on the table. List with the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. I'm Brandon Rhymes. Reach me at 813-670-7372 or platinummvpteam.com.
My name is James DeJerome, and I produce the Consumer Quarterback Show for Brandon Rhymes. The Consumer Quarterback Show is a team, a group of like-minded professionals who partner together to provide our audience sound advice, knowledge, and information to make them wiser consumers. We work with all types of business owners and aggressively promote our local economy. We're currently conducting interviews for our expert contributors. If you own a business or know someone who would benefit from the exposure our show provides, please contact us at 813-750-0550 or online at consumerqb.com.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense. and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, helping you win in your real estate deals. If you're buying, selling, or investing, you want to work with a top-ranked team. We're in the top 1% of all 25,000 plus realtors in Tampa Bay. We want to help you win buying, selling, or investing. Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. One of the things we love also is our veterans. Our first responders. Talk about paramedics. Talk about all the men and women on the front line. Our teachers, our nurses out there. We offer discounts for veterans, first responders, teachers, nurses. We basically look for a reason to give you a discount if you want to work with us, especially if you serve our country. And I want to give a shout out to our friends who are veterans here as well. Veteran gutters. If you're thinking about putting gutters onto your home, it's a great addition. It helps extend your roof life. American-made product as well. Veteran Gutters, our friend Brandon Porter and his team, they do such a great job. So if you're looking for a gutter system on your home, and of course they've got the leafless covers now as well in case you got oak trees and dumping a bunch of leaves in there. Veteran Gutters, reach out to Brandon and his team. Make sure you let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. And of course, if you're a veteran out there, we've got some great lending programs, some great opportunities to help you win, as we say here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. And we've got today a great lineup for you today. We're going to dive deep into real estate, some of the different factors affecting the future of real estate and technology, how that's going to play a role with Howard Weinstein, Keller Williams Realty. He's a broker actually for our office. We'll talk about the dynamic of being a broker in a real estate company as well. And we've got Fred MUTH as well, Tampa Screens and Aluminum, on the phone as well. Longtime friend of the program and can definitely help you increase your home's value by adding a screen room. So I want to go back to Howard here. So Howard, maybe a little intro kind of overview of your history. You said a lot of years in real estate. Talk a little bit about, where you came from and how you're, right now you're, representing one of the biggest brokerages in all of the world and a local broker as well in Tampa Bay. I think our Ubaldini Group teams have done $1.7 billion, and that's got to be up there in the top 10, I believe, right?
We're pretty far up there as far as production across the country. I've got an interesting route. I was a music educator, is what I did originally before real estate. So I wasn't on the football field. I had the band playing for you on the football field, and
I love it. That energy that you get. Oh man.
Yeah. So I've grown up with that. I'm still involved in that on the side. I work with the Tarpon Springs program in North Pinellas County. Have for as long as I've been in real estate, and have a lot of pride in them. But I started in real estate in the Orlando market because when my father retired from the Naval Academy as a musician, we moved to Orlando, and he went to work for Disney. So I went to high school, college, and started my teaching career there, and then I moved into the real estate realm there as well in the Orlando marketplace. Only sold for about 5 or 6 years, and then went directly into real estate leadership. Why? Because I love teaching.
Cool.
I still love teaching, and so the leadership piece allows me to coach, consult, and be a part of real estate all at the same time. So that's what led me into the leadership portion. I was down in the Southwest Florida marketplace, Naples, Fort Myers, that area. With
where I'm from. Down south.
Prudential Florida Realty down in that area.
Pre-trop.
And then we became Arvida. And then after they were purchased by NRT Corporation, I worked for Prudential Tropical Realty in the Tampa Bay marketplace, which I was already back up in this area at that point in time, which is now Berkshire Hathaway. Great people over there. And then I came to Keller Williams, like I said, between 9 and 10 years ago. And like I said, I love the education piece. We're a learning-based company. You can grow as much as you want to, and you can take advantage of the education that we have to help you grow your business. What's really cool is the fact that we have agents like yourself, great agents like you, that brand and build their business, with our consult on the side of you, and we work with you as a partner. And help you grow your business to the highest level. But I've been really happy with the company because, we talk a few times a week regarding things with your business, and I love that time because I grow learning from you. I hope that you grow learning from me, and I think that because the market changes so much, you can't get in this business, Brandon, like you could years ago and just kind of just coast along. You got to be able to stay on what's up as far as the market of the moment, the tendencies of the market, interest rates, all that kind of stuff. And so being with a learning-based company that molds with the market at that time, it's going to help our agents grow. Yeah,
absolutely, Howard. You're thinking about technology. You think about these different companies that, they do these online valuations that are almost always wrong. You have these companies properties, and then they charge realtors to have a certain percentage of a zip code, and then all this money. But talk a little bit about the competitive strategy as well that with Keller Williams, and then some of the other from what you're seeing from a leadership side, the technology that's really coming in, these do it for you or discounter type companies, fly by nights, they're gone once the market changes.
Market changes, it shakes the market up and down, and a lot of those fall out. Where a company like ours that was built through challenging marketing times, right?
Yeah.
Is one that you want to have on your side, both as an agent and as a consumer. So I think that, the market, like I mentioned to you, the market of the moment is something you want to keep in mind. Like right now, as you know, it's a very tight seller's market. The inventory in Tampa Bay has never been this low.
Never. 95% absorption rate, Hillsborough County, just unbelievable numbers when you look at all the categories of yes, the $1 million property is a little bit slower movement up there, but it takes a 2-income household or even just some deep pockets to purchase in that price point. But yeah, unbelievable numbers.
So can a seller sell a house pretty quickly? Absolutely. Are they getting the top dollar they can for it? They need a professional like Brandon Rhymes' team, or a strong real estate agent that's going to help them do that, because A, you could be leaving money on the table, even if your house is sold. B, there could be disclosure issues that you're not careful with. So you asked me a couple minutes ago regarding what our emphasis has been in the real estate marketplace, and technology has played a big role in that because that's where we've gone. I mean, consumers use apps in their phones, and they're driving around, and they find things, and we want to make sure that they're able to get all the information they need from that, and then it ties it back to our agents to be able to help their consumers at the highest level. So technology has been a huge aspect of that and will continue to be.
Yeah, and I love what Gary did. Gary invested $1 billion of his own money into this program called Command. It has artificial intelligence in it. My wife Lindsay handles more of that side of the business, but the smart plan, some of the things that you can do as an agent, and it really helps the customer, the client, the end customer in mind.
It definitely does, and here's the thing. I mean, if you don't have a strong foothold on the technology piece, see, here's the thing: the market's changing up and down and up and down and up and down, and for an agent to create consistency in their industry, it's going to be important that they have the tools and resources to make that happen. Like you said, right now there's discount brokers and fly-by-nights that charge a flat fee and say good luck to the client, and then what happens if they leave disclosure things out or they don't handle certain legalities? They could get themselves into some kind of trouble. We work really hard with our agents and our clients to make sure that none of that's left out, so every detail is hit upon, so that they are at the minimal legal risk when they go to sell or purchase a property.
Yeah, because the risk out there, we are in a litigious society.
Huge.
People love to sue people over, oh, you wronged me and you didn't disclose this, or it was a lead-based paint, all these different disclosures that you're missing out there. So it's a big-time challenge. Plus, we probably can't cover it in the rest of this segment. We've got about a minute left, but you look at what I call, it's misleading advertising. Sometimes you would even deem it false advertising, where, we're going to pay all your closing costs and all these misleading type things. They bump the rate up. They play those games with closing costs. By the way, if you read the fine print at the bottom, you got to do your next 5 deals with us. Not that extreme, but you have to do your buy side deal with us if you sell, and then you got to use our title company. You got to use our mortgage. That's the competitor's way of offering you this low introductory type deal, but trying to get that hook in you as a consumer, that proverbial hook, and then wow, you didn't know you had to do all those next steps with them.
Yeah, RESPA controls a lot of that too. Real Estate Settlement Procedures Act. So you want to make sure you're working with an agent that understands that and knows how to make sure that you and your client follows all the rules.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a challenge that you have, and it's a competitive market. Probably one of the most competitive markets out there. I mean, personal injury law is probably up there.
It's competitive too. And I want to talk to you about that if we get an opportunity in the future, because you want talent on your side. When you're going to buy a property, you're going to need a talented agent like Brandon to take care of you during that process, because you're going to be going up against 8 or 9 other buyers for that.
That's right.
home.
How do you win the multiple offer? That's what I want to talk about when we come back. Sure. Multiple offers on the buy side. How do you win the multiple offers? We're going to talk a little bit about some of the strategy. We're not going to give it all away here, but we're going to talk to you about how we do some of the things that we do to help you win, because it is 7, 8, 10 multiple offers on some of these properties. Also, more with Fred MUTH as well, Tampa Screens and Aluminum. Howard Weinstein here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, Keller Williams Realty, and our feel-good story, stranger buys boy a basketball hoop after seeing him shoot hoops in a trash can. Stay with us. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
This is Chris Voss, former FBI lead hostage negotiator and owner of the Black Swan Group. and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, Brandon, let me know when you want to proceed. He is there. All right, everybody, please stand by.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, helping our sellers win in their real estate deals, getting maximum exposure for our properties here in Tampa Bay. We got some great listings out here. I got about 15 vacant land listings out there if you're looking for developers, investors. Let's take a look at 304 East Waters Avenue, right here in Tampa, over close to Bird Street, I-275 area. Waters Avenue, East Waters, 304 East Waters Avenue. This is a vacant lot, great opportunity for a business, a commercial opportunity, 0.44 acres. You got 95 feet along frontage of Waters Avenue, about 40 to 50,000 vehicles a day driving by, located on 2 streets east of Florida Avenue, corner of Branch and Waters. Great opportunity for vacant land here in Tampa Bay. 12208 Four Oaks Road as well, another great development opportunity. This one is R9 zoning, so you've got up to a potential 40 units on this corner lot in Carrollwood. So it's in Tampa, Carrollwood, Central Tampa. Great opportunity here as well in 12208 Four Oaks Road in Tampa Bay. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. And give a shout out to Golf Cart Depot, a.k.a. Discovery Golf Cars, the official provider of the Consumer Quarterback Show. They've got the Star EV, the Cushman, the Easy Go. They got new and pre-owned golf carts available as well. Seems like everybody's getting a golf cart these days. It's so much fun, makes and models. A lot of the areas, a lot of the neighborhoods have that walkability, but they also have that golf cart ability as well. You can cruise around in golf carts. People really enjoy that. They hooked me up with my Keller Williams Red. You can see I've got the wraps on it as well, the Easy Go, and my 2 dogs, Carter and Charlie, love to go on rides on the Easy Go golf cars. Let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. 2 locations right here in beautiful Tampa Bay. Golf Cart Depot, a.k.a. Discovery Golf Cars. All right, Howard Weinstein's in the office here in studio as well. Keller Williams Realty. He's a broker of our office, and we're going to talk about some of the broker perspective. He gets to deal with a lot of the, what do you call them, Howard? Like complaining calls. You know, you get some of that stuff. Concerns. There you go. There's a good one. And we got Fred Muth as well, Tampa Screens and Aluminum. Fred, I'm going to go back to you as well. Start you off here. And, what else are you seeing in your industry, Fred? You come in with these beautiful patios, screen rooms, lanais, and you add value to people's properties, and I think it's that time of year coming up here where it's going to be your busy season as well.
Well, the busy season has been a couple of years in a row now with no let up. We have not had a chance to come up for air, and I'm okay with that. A little overwhelming, but I'll take it. But we in the first segment we were discussing how the rooms add value, and of course, if the home's listed and it doesn't have a screen, put a screen on, add value, etc. But I would like to touch on this. I am going to sign a job this afternoon where the tree fell down, hit the room, and the insurance company settled. So they're going to get the contract in play today, and they're going to list the house tomorrow because it's time to move. And they were asking me, my opinion of that. And I said, well, as far as I know, it's going to enhance it. It's going to help the sale. obviously, I think when the appraiser comes in, and this would be a Ray Hall question, I think the contract and the fact that there's an application for a permit in process is what they call hypothetical condition on the value.
Right.
So when they come in and the appraiser comes in and sees a damaged screen room, obviously that's going to drop value. But when he sees the actual contract with the fact that a permit's been applied for, I think he puts it in as hypothetical and he brings the value back up. Would you know anything about that, you guys?
Yeah, well, I think what you're going to do there, Howard, you might be looking at an escrow holdback potentially.
Potentially, yeah, you could do that. That's one option, or you could delay the closing. I mean, there's a couple different things that you could do, but the escrow holdback, as long as all the parties are in agreement, that could work.
Yeah, so Fred, what you do there is you have what they call an escrow holdback. Potentially, let's just say it's a $5,000 repair or completion of that job. Hold $5,000 in escrow. Buyer seller agree to it. Title company has no problem. They'll hold $5,000 worth of the proceeds back, and then once that job is finished, it's released, and everybody's made whole.
Just that simple.
There you go. That's what we do. We solve problems here, right, Howard?
That's right.
Let's go back to that question I was asking as a broker. What are some of the main complaints? I know right now it's multiple offer situations. People are saying, hey, I thought I was going to get this deal. Did my agent submit my offer? These type of scenarios. What are you seeing in terms of multi offers?
Yeah. So, well, first of all, they're on almost every single listing, right? At this point in time, like I've never seen. I mentioned to you in my career, they're on every single listing. Secondly, there only can be one buyer for a home, right? So if 8, 9, 10 offers go in, sometimes a buyer gets upset. Now, what I will say is this. It's really important that you're working with an agent that is experienced and talented in order to be able to handle multiple offer situation.
That's right.
Because you got to make sure that the right addendums are used.
Yep.
We use escalation clauses sometimes. Yep. When you have dialogue and conversation about highest and best. One of the things you'll find with agents like Brandon and Lindsay is they do a buyer consultation with you from the very start to figure out what you're looking for, what you're willing to spend, what you're comfortable with,
right.
And that transfers from that consultation all the way through the offer process to give you a much better chance of getting your offer through. And so that's why it's real important that the agent's as informed as possible. And then they'll do some things too, like personification letters, following fair housing, of course, but personification letters so that the seller looks at the buyer more than just a piece of paper, but as a human being, right? Who's purchasing the home and what they're about, and takes that all the way through. So, sometimes we have concern calls that come through or complaints that do come through. A lot of times it's based on just dealing with the market at the moment and the time.
By the way, let's take a step back. In our office, we've got around 450 plus agents. There's, I think it was up at 489 at one point. We came in first in January out of all the agents in the office, January last year. But that's how it is in sales. Sometimes you're first, sometimes you're 10th, sometimes you're 8th. You're in the top 10 to 15 consistently out of a big office like that. That says a lot for your team. But yeah, so you're talking about a lot of transactions, a lot of volume. I mean, we mentioned 1.7 billion. There's going to be some issues and some concerns.
There are going to be. But here's what I will tell you, and I'm obviously a little biased to Brandon and Lindsay because they take such good care of their clients. What I will tell you is this. I know that our agents are on top of the transaction, whether that's in the evening, if it's on a weekend, whatever's going to happen. So sometimes getting the deal through is just staying on top of the communication of the transaction itself.
That's a big part. I tell you, I just had a multi-offer situation, and the agent that called me and followed up and pled their case, and I said, okay, well, remind me again of your terms. I mean, you go fishing through your emails, you get 1,000 a day, right? So it's like, remind me again of your terms. Would you mind emailing that or texting that again, just so I have it? The agent that's persistent and on top of things, a lot of times, are going to edge out some of those other agents that just send the offer, and it's like they expect you. Yeah.
And it's not always about the price, right? The price is just one term.
Yep.
You have closing dates, you have convenience factors, you've got appliances, you've got different conditions, different that have to met it. Is it cash? Is it financing? If they are financing, how much? There's a lot to the transaction.
Yeah.
So you're right. You can't just slop an email out with an offer in it and just pray and hope it goes through. There's things that have to happen with it.
Yeah, and the marketing plan. I love some of the the marketing that we have. We got special relationships with Facebook and Google, and that's a really cool thing to have nowadays. Can you expound a little bit on that?
Yeah, so you mentioned our platform earlier, our command platform.
Yeah.
And through that command platform is how our agents are able to give clients top-notch exposure to their properties. And then we have specific agreements with Facebook through Keller Williams and through Google so that we're able to do a lot more widespread marketing, and we have what's called smart plans that help bring that property to life in the geographic areas, subdivisions, zip codes, all that type of thing. So those they're not exclusive, but those direct relationships make a huge difference and help our agents' property stand out above and beyond our competition.
Yeah. And you look at a cost per click or a cost per engagement, it's super low. What
$1.90.
Yeah.
$1.90, and then in the industry, it's about $12. So if you're looking, from the standpoint of purchasing buyer leads, we already have that inherently in our platform for less than $2 a lead. You're not going to find that anywhere else.
Unbelievable. Yeah, many advantages to Keller Williams' platform. We're talking with Howard Weinstein here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. He's the broker of our office over there with the Ubaldini Group, Keller Williams Realty, Gulfside Realty, Tampa Properties as well, managing broker. We also have Fred Muth on the line, Tampa Screens and Aluminum. Talk a little bit about some of the, we kind of alluded it to earlier, some of the technology, some of the platforms, and maybe where you see the industry going. What do you see happening in the future? A lot of people are talking about a stock bubble. This time the 2008 meltdown was completely different. The market dynamics were way different. But now, you see this house of cards. We've been printing money, all this COVID relief, this pandemic, I call it, and, so you got, money going overseas to Pakistan, gender programs, some of this kind of stuff. What's going to happen when this house of cards starts to reorganize in the stock market potentially? There's a lot of people saying they're issuing corporate debt. These corporations are issuing corporate debt. They're buying their own stock back. What does that do? It falsely inflates the value of the stock. I mean, just in general, what do you see happening in the future, maybe 6 to 12 months?
Well, first of all, if I had to answer to that,
yeah, right,
100% answer to that, we'd be in a whole different situation here. What I can tell you is this: dealing with cyclical elements of the industry.
Yeah.
You could say house of cards. Well, regardless of who you voted for or not, we did just have an election, right?
Yep.
And historically, after elections, what happens a lot of times, interest rates will start to creep up.
Mm-hmm.
So you could have something that could happen with our interest rates. Like we've talked about, the inventory is low. And what we've discovered is this pandemic that we've been dealing with, the real estate industry really hasn't participated in it yet.
Right.
It has in an awkward way, but it hasn't in any kind of way that it's heard. And so my concern is, at a certain point, it might, like you said, if stocks change, if a value values of stocks do change, could it impact indirectly values of properties? Yes. What happens is, like I said, the selling inventory is low. Mm-hmm. Eventually, you run out of buyers too.
Mm-hmm.
So if you run out of buyers, the supply-demand chain changes, and then the inventory starts to grow.
Yeah.
And it has a little bit around the country, and not in our market, but in some of the other pockets of markets around the country. It's starting. You could see it starting to change a little bit. Where does it hit first? Luxury market. Above 700,000-800,000.
Right.
And then it'll trickle down. Brandon, 6 months, year, 2 years, it's really hard to say. But what I will say is this, what Gary Keller always says, the market you buy in is the market you sell in, unless you do something in between. So you got to be really conscious of that at this point in time, based on your motivation to buy or sell, so that you're not going to get stuck if the market does change. But if you're buying and you're going to be in your home 5-7 years, you've got nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
Remember, the advantages you have from selling your home top dollar, you got to remember that when you go to purchase a home, if you're doing it in the same window.
Yeah, if you're replacing, you got to move closer to the beach, closer to work, whatever that might be. So yeah, that's some good points. And I always say as well, it matters on where you're at in your life cycle. If you're older and you're getting to a point where you're thinking about retirement, I kind of coach my clients in a position that I don't claim to be a stock advisor. I mean, I feel like I'm pretty well read. I listen to a lot of podcasts and read a lot of books. But when you look at if you're in your 60s, 70s, you're coming to, I would be a little bit more cautious about speculative investment, Bitcoin, those things. And I would say, hey, if you do want to sell real estate, if you're on the market, you're expired, you're a FSBO, let's be serious about getting money into your bank account. Let's get liquid now, put those dollars in your bank account where it's safe. And now you can start looking at, what your investment vehicles might be, indexed annuities, things of that nature. But we got to take a break here. We got to leave it there. We'll come back for our final segment, Intelligent Talk Radio here on the Consumer Quarterback Quarterback Show. Fred MUTH, Tampa Screens and Aluminum. Howard Weinstein joining us as well from Keller Williams Realty. Coming up, our feel-good story of the day. Stranger buys boy a basketball hoop after seeing him shooting hoops in a trash can. Stay with us. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, this is Grant Cardone, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show, hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes. Do not touch that dial. I'll come right through the radio and grab your throat.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
This is Diane Vance with Fairway Independent Mortgage, a member of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Please give me a call for any of your mortgage needs. We do all sorts of loans. If you would like information on a mortgage, you can text me or call me at 727-647-8199. I will take care of all your mortgage needs. Go to my website at dianevance.com.
Ian Beckles here with my man Brandon Rhymes, a.k.a. the real estate quarterback. Brandon, what's happening with the market?
Thanks, Ian. We are in a low inventory market, so any of our listeners are homeowners and would like a free comparable market analysis or a 2.5% listing, we will honor this for the first 3 listeners who call or text in 813-773-1253. Free CMA and a 2.5% real estate listing at 813-773-1253. Check out consumerqb.com. Selling commercial or residential property? Don't leave money on the table. List with the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. I'm Brandon Rhymes. Reach me at 813-670-7372 or platinummvpteam.com.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show. Big shout out to Chad Irrigation. We live on a lake. We live right on Lake Tarpon, so we had Chad Irrigation, Victor and his team, first-class organization, did a great job. They actually ran right into the water there. They were pulling water out of the lake now to supply our irrigation supply. Cuts off the city water, saves you a lot of money. Chad Irrigation, local-owned company right here in Tampa Bay. We always talk about supporting the local economy, and I highly recommend Victor and his team at Chad Irrigation for all your irrigation needs. So right here in Tampa Bay, helping you win in any marketplace. Every day, we're going to tell you something positive in our feel-good story of the day.
Tell me something good.
All right, so a real cool summarization of this story. A man in Louisiana helped surprise a boy with a new basketball that he saw shooting in the trash can that he had as a hoop. And Devin Hingston, 30 years old, was driving through Alexandria, Louisiana, when he spotted a boy playing basketball in his driveway. When he got closer, he realized the boy was shooting into a trash can. So what did he do? He says, I always do these random acts of kindness. He said, I'll see kids on the corner store. I'll buy them a snack or something to snack on. I'll see a homeless person. I'll buy him a bomber jacket or for some food. And he said, I never really post on social media because I'm not doing it for that. That's not what's on my heart calling me to do it. So the mom is quoted as saying, I saw this young man. He knocked on my door and he says, ma'am, I see your little boy shooting basketball in the trash can. I went and bought him a basketball goal. Patricia Williams wrote on a Facebook post, this man was a complete stranger, and I started crying because it was an angel in disguise. And Jeremiah was in the background jumping for joy. The kid was jumping for joy, and I was dropping tears, Hinkson said. It was special. So there's our feel-good story of the day. Something as small as that can really change the perspective of just the whole day for some people, and just really make people kind of reassured in that family, that human being connection that we have out there. So there's our feel-good story of the day. We love to tell you those types of stories. So we got a couple of hot listings here. Platinum MVP team, Keller Williams Realty right here in Tampa Bay. Let's talk about 516 Alt 19 in Palm Harbor. Another vacant land right here in that Ozona area, very close to Ozona, Palm Harbor, downtown walkability. 516 Alt 19 in Palm Harbor. This is a vacant lot that we have, and it is in Palm Harbor there. You've got commercial buildings on both sides, and we will bring that up for our screen next time there. So 1401 Seminole Boulevard. Let's see if we have that one, John. That one's a commercial property, 0.82 acres down in Largo area. It's a corner lot, 6.82 acres, 1401 Seminole Boulevard in Largo. See all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. All right, Howard Weinstein in studio, Fred Muth on the line. So let's go back to, I want to go back to Howard. What else do you think we may have glossed over? Maybe we should talk a little bit deeper on.
Yeah, I was making a few notes while you were talking. First of all, vacant land in Pinellas County is a rarity, right?
Yeah, man.
So the fact that you've got some listings like that, like people need to be jumping on that because it's a rarity to find that.
That's right. Number one way to hedge against inflation, buy land.
Absolutely, especially in Pinellas where there's virtually none there.
Exactly.
Right? I was writing down a few things when you were speaking a few minutes ago, and as far as Matt taking advantage of the market that we're in right now, I don't know if people in your audience do flips, meaning like purchase a property, do some updates, upgrading. Obviously, Fred can help with that as well, right?
Yep.
And I see people doing really well with that in the market right now because the market's escalating at such a quick velocity that if you've got the resources to be able to buy a home, update it, upgrade it, and put it back on the market relatively quick and really maximize the return, this is a time to be doing that, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Chris Robinson, About Face Cabinetry, does a great job as well. He's got some interesting stories, too, where he's done that for a realtor. They've taken the property off the market, wasn't getting offers, put it back on the market, multiple offers. Mm-hmm. And he can do it in very quick turn time. I think it was 5 to 7 days, something like that. 7 to 10 days, he can be in and out.
Yeah, to have a team like that of people that you're able to do that with. So that's one thing. And the other thing that I see people having a lot of success with right now, and of course, depending on how COVID affects it, is purchasing properties where you can use them as like Airbnbs.
Yes.
Those types of rentals, because when you don't have the COVID restrictions and you could do that, I mean, Brandon, the amount of return I see people getting on those is just immense. Just
unbelievable.
Immense.
Sometimes people will even just lease the property. They'll sublease it, rent it out, Airbnb it. Then you got to pay for your maids and the maid services.
Sure.
Now, the thing to be careful with also is when you're advertising and you're marketing those, some areas won't allow for that.
Right.
Any insights into that?
Yeah, what I would do is, you know how you have the opportunity to check HOAs and condo docs, and a lot of those are online with the websites of the communities now. It's not near as hard to get them as it was before. So before you even start down that road, check that out really, really carefully to make sure that it's something that isn't going to be an issue for you down the road, and that it's not. I'd also look at the history of the associations. Do they make a lot of changes quickly? So ask to see the minutes of the associations to see if they make a lot of changes so that you're not held back, have a property you can't do that with in the future.
Yeah, that's real good advice. All right, we're going to jump into our lightning round.
The lightning round!
I am so good at lightning rounds!
I majored in lightning rounds.
All right, here we go. Top tips, nuggets of advice, parting words of wisdom. Fred Muth, Tampa Screens and Aluminum.
My parting words are usually the same thing. I tell anybody, any homeowner, any consumer, if you're going to build out a construction project with your home, please make sure that you ask a lot of questions. At Tampa Screens and Aluminum, we welcome the questions, and I'm very secure with any customer that asks me a lot of questions. They can pepper me with questions, and I appreciate it. Basically, this kind of leaves no stones unturned on the back end. There's nothing worse in the construction business than a big surprise on the back end. So in case I don't cover it, the customer may ask the question, and we've got it resolved before the contract begins.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. Top tips, Howard, nuggets of advice, parting words of wisdom.
I think that the biggest thing I could say is when you're selecting a quality real estate agent, like Brandon Rhymes at Keller Williams Realty, when you're picking a quality agent to sell your home, ask for testimonials and speak to the clients that have worked with them before. Recently in the last 12 to 24 months, and ask them, to Fred's point, ask questions. But I'm telling you to ask questions about service, response time, top value for their property, great experience on the buying experience. Make sure that you're asking to speak to testimonials of people that agents work with, so that you don't get stung with an agent that isn't experienced, seasoned, and also is culturally oriented as well.
That's right. Absolutely. I got a good tip for you here when it comes to negotiating. So I love teaching negotiation. I love talking about negotiation. And number one, I'll give you 4, maybe 5 quick tips here. Number one is create harmony. Whenever you're entering a relationship, it doesn't have to be antagonistic. And by the way, you're 31% smarter if you're simply smiling and you're in a good mood. And that's going to lead to more of an opportunity to have a meeting of the minds. You're 31% smarter according to studies, and you're going to also have reciprocation from the other party. Number 2, emphatic listening. This was even one of Stephen Covey's 7 habits. Listening not with the intent to reply, but listening with the true intent to understand the feelings of the other party. Number 3, powerful questions. You want to ask these open-ended. Chris Voss, former hostage negotiator, lead FBI hostage negotiator, says you want to ask tactical questions, strategy. You want to have those kind of like you're sighting in a gun. You're going to tactically ask those questions, open-ended, empathetic, probing questions that will enable you to evoke those questions from that other party, the emotions, to find out, well, hey, what are the underlying reasons? Maybe we can find a common ground somewhere. Number 4, make sure you're pitching the proper party. You might sometimes go into a sales deal, you're pitching the wrong person when you should actually be pitching the owner or whoever is the signee of the trust. You have a trust or an LLC. You're pitching the wrong person. You're wasting your time. And number 5 is the BATNA. You want to have the best alternative to a negotiated agreement. Think about what that might be. If you can't come to an agreement, what is your best alternative to a negotiated agreement? Your BATNA. So there's 5 quick tips when it comes to negotiating as if your deal depended on it. So I want to thank Howard Weinstein. Thanks so much, my friend. Appreciate you coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Enjoyed it. My pleasure. And Fred Muth, always a pleasure, my friend.
Likewise.
Tampa Screens and Aluminum. All right. And please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness, just like you saw today on the show, the gentleman buying the basketball hoop. Something small as that. You can volunteer some time at the food bank, volunteer, with Habitat for Humanity. Lots of ways to get involved, to be a force for good in the community. Do something kind for one another. And we'll see you next time right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Check out consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show.